morning. Good morning. It's going to be another hot one today here in Maryland. Going through this big heat wave. Anyway, I want to talk about this morning about my first bass. The first bass that I ever got. And now this isn't the first bass I ever played. The first bass I ever played when I was young was a Fender P-Bass that I actually borrowed from a friend from school. So his name was Jeff, and he allowed me to play his bass, or attempt to. So that was the first bass I ever played. The first bass I ever bought of my own was a Dean bass. That's right, a Dean bass. It was around Christmas time, and as you know, I was starting my journey as a member of a worship team for a church. This had been my first time playing bass at all. I mean, I had a guitar that I tried to play, and I just was never very good. And but as far as like actually being part of a team of other musicians, this would be my first time, and it was a little scary because I had never played with or had not played with a team like this before. I have been a Christian for 25 plus years. I've been in church. I was saved in the same church that I'm attending now. But we had left the church to go to another church for about 3 years, and at this other church is when I started playing bass. Now, I'm not going to say it wasn't God's plan for me to go to this church. Perhaps this was the door that needed to be opened in order for me to start playing bass, in order for me to start being part of a team. I don't know, but I want to believe that God ordains all our steps. So I want to also believe that I was following the will of God, and that my wife and I had attended this church briefly to kind of open up that portion of my worship to Him that I was lacking in the past. Now, when I say lacking, I don't mean that I was lacking in my love for God, but perhaps that part of my destiny had not been open. That's a better way to say it, that the part of my destiny had not been open. At any rate, I had gotten this Dean bass. Now, I just want to encourage you that if you are starting out in worship, or you're starting out as a bass player, it's really not about the money you spend. It really isn't. I mean, yeah, you get what you pay for, but what you pay for, you should also be able to play. And God's going to honor your dedication to your calling, not because you spend a lot of money, but because of the heart that you have towards Him and towards the destiny He's called you to. It's not about how much money you spend on a musical instrument. That's not the case. I hear many people who spend an exorbitant amount of money for this, that, and the other thing, and really, I don't know, I don't want to say they don't have a love, but they really just don't have a passion for it, as I would think that they would. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying buying an expensive bass is bad. It's just that is not your avenue to be better. And sorry about that. And sometimes even I, with other things, I can fall into that trap as well. At any rate, it was during Christmas season, and I had yet to play with the worship team, and I finally decided that, I had to go ahead from the Lord to buy this and to begin this journey. Sorry for the sun glare. And as I was beginning this journey, I did check online and do all sorts of things like that, but I just felt like let me get a starter bass. So that's what I did. I got a starter bass, and it was a Dean bass, nothing expensive, nothing bright or flashy. I walked in, they had a rack of 3 basses, and yeah, the sun's pretty bad. A rack of 3 basses, and I picked up the Dean bass, really because it was the cheaper of the 3. And I sat down and I started plucking away. Truth be told, I didn't really know anything about playing. You're gonna say, well, that's weird, Frank. You had to at least known how to play. And I was like, to be honest with you, I didn't. I didn't know how. I didn't know notes. I didn't know chords. I don't know how to read music. I don't know any of that stuff. So I sat down with the bass, and my wife went. We live in a town that has shops and stuff in the town, and so my wife went in. It was going through the shops, Christmas season, and she let me sit there. And she's really good about understanding my little idiosyncrasies of over researching, I guess you would call it. And so I got this bass down, and I texted the worship leader, who's a really good friend of mine. I've known him since middle school. And I texted him and I showed him a picture of the bass, and he says, yeah, that's a decent brand. And so I tuned it with a app from my phone, and just started kind of plucking away at it, not really knowing what I was doing. And about an hour and a half later, my wife comes in and she says, you're still here? And I said, yeah, I'm still here. And the pawn shop where I got the bass from, they didn't care. They left me alone to sit and play. And at the end of it, I did buy the bass. He gave me a case and the bass for $100. There you go. I took the bass home. I had gotten a Fender Rumble, a 25 watt amp from Amazon. Nothing fancy. Plugged it in, tuned it, and then began to seek out teaching information on how to play this bass. Now, I didn't have time to get formal lessons. I'm pretty busy as it is with my family and my work, and I'm a grandfather, and kids. All the kids live really close, so it's pretty tough for me to have free time. And so I did what most people do: is they go to YouTube, they go to online, and they begin to research and begin to seek out ways to learn. And boy, I tell you, there's a ton out there. Don't ever think there's not. There is a lot of material out there for you to learn. And one of the guys I had already mentioned was a guy named Mitch. He has a YouTube channel called Bassplay12, and he really helped me out a lot. But it's really a matter of desire and calling. And I wasn't sure of either, but I took the first steps in what I felt like I was supposed to do. I don't even know how good is for me. I just know that I want to continue to play. And my first bass was precious to me. My first bass was my Dean bass. And I really enjoyed that bass. But I didn't realize some things about action and intonation and the neck straight or anything like that. So the action on it was pretty high, and I struggled with it because I have smaller hands. So I just want to, just to encourage you, it's not about the money you spend. It's about the heart behind what you're doing. And the blessings of God going with you. That's really what it is. If you're doing it for your own gratification, it's going to be short-lived. But if you're doing it to serve the Lord, then the Lord's going to sustain it as long as He wants to sustain it. Don't be afraid to step out. Don't be afraid to step out. Be encouraged to know that the Lord is with you. I'll go into more to this another time, but that Dean bass is really what helped me start this journey. I hope you guys have a great day. Blessings to you. And I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.